This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, yeah, once again, very good morning and thanks for being joining. Last session we discussed about basic SQL Server architecture, how it will works, what are the internal components, how many layers are available. That is what we discussed. Before we go into further, okay, any questions on that part? Everyone got opportunity to go and watch that session? No, you will. So when you go to our channel, okay, so go to the playlist. Once you open the our channel okay link, so go to the playlist where we created a new playlist called batch 39. So currently I will place all your session on this playlist 39. Okay, so first couple of sessions are in public only. No need to grant any permission. You can directly go and watch those sessions later on. So from next week onwards we'll make it as a private, so that only the people who wants to continue this batch they can access the sessions. All the sessions we will place here itself. Okay, you can go and watch anytime. Now, okay, so last session we discussed about how the SQL architecture will works and what are the layers are available, how it will works. That is what we discussed. Any questions on that part? Anyone? No. Okay, so today we are going to start the new concept that is nothing but storage architecture. Okay, let's make it this. So last session we discussed about SQL Server architecture, how it will works. Now we are mainly focusing on the storage part. Storage part. Okay, very important concept. Everyone need to understand how the data is storing in SQL Server. How the data is storing in SQL Server. Basically, when you go to the storage part, okay, especially once we install SQL Server, okay, so you can access the SQL Server, uh, and you can connect to the SQL Server, and you can perform whatever transaction you can do it on the SQL Server. But basically, once we install the SQL Server, first we will create the databases. First, we'll create the database. A database is nothing but collection of data. So whatever you wanted to save, either it can be movable data, it can be non-movable data, it can be images, whatever, sir. If you wanted to store something, okay. So usually in every database management system, we used to create the databases. On that database, respect to database, we used to store respect to data, means application data. It can be any application like Amazon, Flipkart, or SBA, or your Airtel or Geo, whatever, sir. Either it can be insurance or banking. So every application, so basically every application will create their own SQL instance. So they will install. So for example, this is my application. Okay, so SBI is my application, for example. So for this application, okay, so mostly we have different environments in real world, like production, development, test, okay, pre-prod, stage, build. So we will maintain different environments actually. So usually uh, you will install. So for example, I'm installing SQL Server in my in one server. For example, you install SQL Server in one server. Okay, that server you will treat as it's a production server. You will install in one more server, one more SQL server. That server you will treat as a development server. You will install one more SQL on different server, and that instance you will make it as a test server. So Application team will come to you and say that I am going to maintain these many environments: production environment, development environment, test environment, pre-prod environment, stage environment, build environment. Okay, UAT environment. UAT and test is both are same. UAT. UAT and test is both are same. So they will come up with different environments in real world. And SQL is again same, sir. When you open SQL in any server, it looks like same only. But technically, you should call it as it's a production box, it's a development box, it's a test box, it's a build box, it's a stage, it's a pre-prod. Okay, so application team will come to you and say that, okay, I need to maintain this many environments. So production environment, development environment. So what developers will do, developers will develop the application. Once your application is developed, it will go to the testing. Once the testing is done, it will go to the pre-prod. Once it go to the pre-prod, finally it will go to the production. So it will move the stage by stage, phase by phase. So basically you are installing SQL server in different servers, sir, but the servers are environment is very important. So production box is very critical for us. In everywhere, production is the live. Whatever you are seeing is live, sir. Production. So production is very critical. Please be careful if you are doing anything over the production box. Okay. Development is nothing but developers are developing the code and they are placing everything in the development box. Testers, they will test whatever the code developed by the developers. Once testing phase is gone, good, then it will go to the pre-prod. And before production, one more stage is nothing but pre-prod. Here the data will move and they will test how the application is working, everything is working or not. In case they face any challenge, again they will go to the development. Again it will go to the test. Again pre-prod. Once everything seems fine, then it will finally will move to the production. That is how your data will keep on moving. Okay, keep on moving. So you are installing SQL Server. Don't get confused. You got opportunity to install SQL Server on so and so server. You will connect to the server and you will try to install the SQL Server. Once you install the SQL Server, once you install the SQL Server, we used to create the databases. N number of databases, sir. We used to create N number of databases. So N number of databases. Each database contains its own data, respective data. We are not sure what kind of data our databases are holding, but we know, okay, these instances belong to so and so application. Assume these instances belong to uh, home loan application, these instances belong to car loan application, these instances belong to personal loan application. Okay, we know that, okay, personal loan information is residing in this instance, but application team will create multiple databases. They know which database contains what kind of data very well than us. What is the purpose of DBS? We will just create the database and will grant the respective permissions, and they used to store whatever data they want. We no need to worry, sir, until unless they will come to you and ask that, hey, when I'm connecting to this SQL and when I'm performing certain operation in this database, I am facing the issue. Then DBA will come into the picture to troubleshoot what's happening in this instance, what's happening in this database, why users are not able to perform as expected. Okay, so as a DBA, you need to install SQL Server. As a DBA, you need to create the database. As a DBA, you need to grant the permissions. That is a major goal of the DBAs. What kind of application, what kind of instance. Okay, so once you create the database, so users will start loading the data. So that we will discuss, sir, in the coming session. I will take one development session. So what exactly developers will do as a DBA, you must and should know what exactly developer will do. Otherwise, it's very difficult to troubleshoot, sir. It's a mandatory. It's not a mandatory, but if you know little bit development knowledge, you are good to troubleshoot something. Okay, so developers will come up with the different scenarios. You should understand those scenarios. You should understand the query, how they designed. So you should know little bit about development knowledge. You are not developer again. You are not developing anything, but you should know sorry, everyone able to hear?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, Subbu.
Yes.
Okay, my network got fluctuated. One second, sir. Yeah. Okay. So once you install the SQL Server, we used to create the database. If someone is asking what is a database, database is nothing but collection of data which is arranged in the proper format. You can easily you can modify, easily you can retrieve, easily you can access, because it's a which is arranged in the proper format. So in this database we know that okay, what kind of data is residing in this database, what kind of data is residing. Every database is a unique user. Okay, every database is unique. So developers will create the tables. See, developers will create the tables, views, stored procedures, functions, triggers, blah blah something. So actually, they are accessing the database, they are loading the data, they are performing everything. We are just maintaining. We are just maintaining. Okay, so once you install the SQL Server, what is the next job, sir? You need to create the database. Database is nothing but collection of data which is arranged in the proper format. That data can be any data, sir. Okay, movable data, non-movable data, any data. It can be any data. Okay, so which is storing on your database. So once you create a database, okay, once you create a database, so here two things, sir. Once you create, for example, I created DB2 database or DB1 database. Once you create a database, two files will be created in the backend. One is .mdf, one is .ndf. Sorry, .ndf, .ldf. So forget about this one, sir. As of now, two files will be created. Okay, once you create a database, any database, sir, once you create a database in SQL Server, by default, two files will be created. One is .mdf, one is .ldf. Master data file, log data file, log data file. Two files will be created. So, for example, if you try to create a database, sir, if you try to create a database, I told you, right, two files will be created. See, two files. One will be a data file, one will be log file. One will be data file, one will be log file. You can call it as a master data file, you can call it as a data file, you can call it as a primary data file. Any name, sir. Any name is fine. Okay, usually we'll call it as a data files, which will store actual data. Okay, so data files is storing your actual data, whatever you are loading. Whatever you are loading, your actual data will be maintained by the data files. Your actual data will be maintained by the data files. And NDF files. NDF files also same, sir. Secondary data file. This you should call it as a primary data file. This you should call it as a secondary data file. In case if this file is completely full, okay, then you can create the NDF files, secondary data files. Or or so for example, sir, uh, your database size is very huge. Assume your database is size is 10 terabytes, 10 TB. Okay, sir, 10 TB is not a small database, sir. It's a huge database. It's a very huge database. So if I'm keeping in single file 10 TB, your performance will impact or not? Yes or no?
Yes,
Yes.
Subbu.
That if you keep 10 TB in one file, if you wanted to open, if you wanted to perform certain things, it will impact like anything, sir, your performance. So basically, such huge kind of databases, we can suggest the developers or application team, hey, instead of keeping everything in single file, why can't you create data files multiple data files like .ndf files. .ndf files, assume I'm creating 5 ndf files, 5 ndf files. 2 TB I will keep here, 2 TB I will keep here. Okay, 2 TB, 2 TB, 2 TB, 2 TB, 2 TB. I'm just splitting the data, sir, to improve the performance. To improve the performance, so I am just making multiple data files so that it will improve the better performance. So NDF files are nothing but secondary data file. When you will create NDF file means to improve the performance of your database, or or in case my data file is completely full, I don't have space in the disk. Okay, in that scenario, I will create one more NDF file in the different drive, in the different drive, sir. So for example, okay, I'm having two disks. Currently, my data file is available here, C drive. It is completely filled. There is no space. Okay, and you have one more disk having some free space. Now you can ask your application team, can I create one more NDF file and I can place that NDF file in this disk so that you can perform your regular operation. Getting my point? All this will discuss in the deeper, sir, when we go for troubleshooting. No worries. So NDF, MDF file troubleshooting. We'll discuss again in depth so that you can become somewhat stronger. Just understand the logic. Okay. Once we install the SQL Server, we'll create the databases. Whenever you start creating the database, by default, two files will be created. One is MDF file, one is LDF file by default. MDF stands for data file, primary data file, master data file, which is storing actual data, which is storing your actual data. Now, you can create multiple NDF files. That is up to you, sir, how many NDF files you are creating. Basically, we will create in two scenarios. One is to improve the performance, on the larger data files, on the larger data files. One more is in case your disk get full and you don't have space in the disk, you need to uh, keep load the data, then you can create one more NDF file in the different drive. Nothing, sir, very simple. Just click on add. Here you need to choose the D drive. Here you need to choose the D drive. So for example, I need to choose the D drive. See, sir. So one data file I'm storing in C drive. One data file I'm storing in C drive. One data file I'm storing in D drive. Okay, we'll discuss all this practical. Okay, once we complete the theoretical part. Got it? So whenever you try to create a database, two files will be created, and this is how your files looks like, sir. If you go to the program files, Microsoft SQL Server, and if you go to the default instance or any instance, sir, that is up to you. Okay, this is how your primary data file, log data file, primary data file, log data file. Okay, not okay?
Yes, okay,
Question?
clear.
Okay, okay.
Not from my
So,
side.
yeah, everyone. Now, sir. Now, so what about log file? Sir, today I'm just discussing only 5 minutes about log file. Uh, there is a separate session, sir. Almost we'll discuss 2 to 3 hours only on log file. Very critical file, sir. Very important. At least in a week, you will receive at least minimum to minimum 5 tickets by saying that log file is getting full, log file is getting full. Minimum, sir, in a day. In a day, at least 5 tickets you will receive. Minimum. Log file is getting full. Okay, so we will discuss almost 2 to 3 hours entire log file troubleshooting, log file architecture, lot much, sir. As of now, no need to worry. Just I am briefing only 2 minutes here. Okay, and I will share the document to you how to troubleshoot. Step by step will go, sir. Each and every step will discuss in depth because that is very critical activity for DBS. Okay, so MDF is nothing but your data file, sir, where your data is storing. Okay, just make a note, everyone. Don't again, no need to go and prepare blah blah something. Just database. Once we install SQL, we'll create the database. When we create the database, two files will be created. One is data file, one is log file. Data file contains data. Log file contains change related information. All change related information. What do you mean that change, Subbu, means? Sir, uh, so basically, when you perform inserts or updates or deletes, whatever, sir, whatever insert or update, delete or create, not select, not select. Okay, when you perform any insert or update or delete, okay, first it need to go to the LDF before it move to the MDF. Whatever the changes you are performing, all the changes need to make entry in the log file before it move to the MDF file. Getting my point? As of now, just remember only this terminology. Tomorrow, sir, we'll discuss internal concepts, checkpoint, wall, lacerator, dirty page, clean page. You will get more understanding. Same concept I will explain. Okay. Today, time being, I will start. Otherwise, tomorrow we'll go. What is the log file, sir? All the change related information will be stored in the log file. A simple understanding. Before whatever change you performed, whatever change you perform, before it go to the MDF file, all the changes need to make entry in the log file. All the changes need to make entry in the log file. Why? That's what, sir, we'll discuss after a while. Okay, why every change need to make entry in the log file? Getting my point? So log file contains change related information. Whatever changes you are performing, all the change related information will be maintained in the log file before it go to the MDF file. Finally, whatever changes you perform, that need to make entry in the MDF file. MDF file contains actual data. Clear?
Yeah, clear.
So when you create a database, three files are very important, sir. One is MDF file, one is NDF file, one is log file. By default, two files will be created. One is MDF file, one is LDF file. MDF file, NDF file, both are same, sir, almost. Okay, it contains data. MDF, NDF will contains the data. Log file contains change related information. Whatever the change you are performing, right? Those change information will be maintained in the log file. Clear? This is the first layer of storage architecture, sir. So once you install the SQL Server, next what you will do, you will start creating the database. Once you create the database, what will happen? Files will be created. On that files, your data is residing. So this is the first layer. Clear, everyone?
Yes.
Yes, Subbu.
Okay. Now, sir. Now, so you created MDF file, okay, or NDF file, okay, MDF file or LDF file, anything, sir. Once. Now, okay, Subbu, I created a database. I'm having this many files are available in my database. Now, let me ask you a question. How data is storing? So, for example, uh, you inserted three records. One is Shiva record, one is Paul record, one is Poonam record. You inserted three records, okay, into the database, into the where this data is storing. Okay, you are telling that MDF file, NDF file will store the data. Okay, on that MDF, LDF, NDF file, where my data is storing, how my data is storing on that files. Okay, so in SQL Server, your data will store in the form of pages. Pages, sir. Pages. Your data will store in the form of page. So as this is also Microsoft product, MS Office is also Microsoft product, sir. See, when you open Word document, okay, so this is your Word document. This is technically you can call it as a page. So when you double click on the top, so for example, if you double click on the top, there is a header session, there is a footer session, there is a header session, there is a footer session. See, header, footer, like same, like same. Okay, in SQL also your data is storing in the form of pages, which contains header, which contains footer, which contains data rows. Data rows. This is your header, this is your footer, this is your actual data. One, okay, Shiva, two, Paul, three, Poonam. Okay, this is how your data stored in the SQL server. So if someone is asking how data is storing in SQL Server, everyone should answer in SQL Server our data is storing in the form of pages. Each page size is 8 kilobytes, 8 KB. Each page size is 8 KB, sir. Can I increase? No, you can't increase the page size. Can I decrease? No, it's a fixed. Every page size will be 8 kilobytes. 8 kilobytes. So once uh, out of this 8 KB, so for example, if you go and search in Google, okay, page SQL Server page architecture. So for example, if you wanted to see SQL Server page architecture, okay, yeah, I told you right, page header, page footer, and your data rows. Header, footer, data rows. This is how your data will be stored in SQL Server. Okay, so your page size is 8 KB. Your header size will be 96 bytes, sir. 96 bytes. And footer is 2 bytes. And remaining 8096 is your data rows. So what data will store in header? Header means header, sir. Header. Your page ID. Every page contains the ID. Page ID, page ID, object ID, slot, free space, user space, next page, previous page, blah 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 blah. Lot many things, sir. No worries. When we are discussing when in the mid of our indexes concepts, I will open the page and I will show how the data is residing in the page. No worries on that part. Okay. So page header will contains page ID, object ID, slots. Slot is nothing but slots are very important, sir. Slot is very important. Slots are nothing but how many rows are available. Slots is nothing but how many records are available. If you see slot 10 means 10 records are available. If you see 100 records are available. Okay, if you see 1000 records are available. If you see 10,000 records are available in this page. Slots is nothing but how many records are available. So page ID, object ID, slots, free space, user space, next page, previous page, blah 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 something. So when you open the page, page header will store this kind of information. Page header will contains this information, sir. Your page ID, object ID, slot, next page, previous page, user space, unused space. All this sort of information will be available in the page header, and the size of page header is 96 bytes. 96 bytes. And footer will store, uh, technically you should call it as a row offset, sir. Row offset. Row offset. Row offset. Nothing but which object records are storing. So whenever you start inserting the data, when you start inserting the data into the table, okay, so your inserts will go from the footer to data rows. So object id will maintain row id. Every row there will be id, right? That id it will maintain. Row offset, whatever the data you are entering into the space, right, that will enter from the footer, and its size will be 2 bytes. Size will be 2 bytes. And actually your data will be stored in the data rows. Here your data will be stored, like how MS Office is working, sir. Your Word document is working. Footer, header. Basically what you will keep, sir, your name, your mobile address, your name, your email address, your mobile number, your certificates, everything you will keep in the header. And footer you will keep the numbers, right? Mostly will keep the numbers. Agree, not agree? Like page numbers. So for example, if you want to get the page numbers, this is how you will keep the page numbers, right? Like same, footer is nothing but in SQL Server, uh, object ID, record ID will be stored in the footer, and your data will be stored in the data rows. Same architecture is followed by the SQL Server. Got it? Questions? No questions?
Mm.
Hey, Subbu.
Yes.
This row offset 2 bytes is for each row, right? 2 bytes.
No, sir. Overall footer size is 2 bytes. Overall.
Oh, okay.
Overall. Overall. And sir, make sure that the pages concept will be available only in the data files, not in log files, sir. See, log file
Okay.
do not contains the pages. It contains only log records. Log records. Again, sir, don't go deeper for log file as of now currently. Uh, when we are continuing our journey, we'll discuss about more, sir. You understand easily. Now it's very difficult, whoever first time listening. Okay. On LDF file, there is no concept called page. Only in the data files. So let me share the document, okay? Someone can just send it to your WhatsApp, sir. Okay.
So
Questions? No
one thing,
questions? Yeah, yes.
uh, actually, just can you can briefly explain? Actually, but I want to know what is the harden and redo? Actually, I know, but I just
Harden is
confusion ki
harden.
it's
Yeah.
writing
No,
in.
no.
Yeah.
Your harden is like, so I can give you, where is this? Yeah, here. So basically, whenever you are performing inserts, update, deletes, everything will perform in the buffer. That's what last session also we discussed, but not deeper. Tomorrow
Yeah.
we'll go for deeper actually. Okay. So
Okay.
when you are performing anything, it will go to the buffer. So you can't relay a buffer, right? Suddenly your voice got crashed, suddenly your server got shut down, suddenly your server got rebooted, suddenly your voice got corrupted, suddenly your memory got corrupted. You cannot keep your data changes in the data cache, right, for time being. So whatever the changes you are performing, that need to harden parallel to the LDF file to maintain the durability. There is a concept called acid properties, ma'am. On the tacit
Yeah, I
properties,
know that.
D stands for durability. Durability is nothing
Yeah,
but protecting our data. How?
yeah, right.
By harden the changes into the log file. So whatever you are making changes here, parallel it is hardened to the log file before it go to the MDF file.
Okay. And what is
Redo,
the redo?
read on, redo is nothing but you will see when you are working with mirroring, when you are working with always on
Always on.
availability group, always on. There
Okay.
is a concept
Like it's
called
happening only on secondary server, right?
secondary. Yes, there is a concept called, yeah. See, troubleshooting redo queue. That is in
Acha,
always on,
acha.
especially. We'll discuss this concept in depth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, okay, okay.
And
Thank you,
I
thank
will
you. Okay.
share this documents and what kind of information you need to see. Okay, we'll discuss everything.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, good. Questions? Questions?
No, Subbu, from my side, no.
Okay. Now, sir. Okay. So this is the base concepts. Okay. Now, okay. Next, we need to discuss about one more concept is extend. 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 Okay. We need to know about the extend. So extend is nothing but, okay. So in a simple terms, if you wanted to discuss about what is extend, okay, it is nothing but 8 continuous consecutive pages. We'll call it as a one extend. Eight pages. Okay, internally, sir, you no need to worry. You are not doing anything. We are not doing anything. Internally, what Microsoft came up with a structure called Sir, don't get confused. Most of the people will get confused here itself. Your data is storing in the pages. Make a note. Okay, extent is a concept. Actually, 8 physical continuous pages will call it as a one extent. 8 pages. 8 pages will call it as a one extent. One second, sir. Okay, so 8 continuous pages will call it as a one extent. One extents. So if someone is asking what is the extent, okay, extents is nothing but physical 8 continuous pages. Technically, we'll call it as a one extent, and extent size is 64 kilobytes because uh, each page size is 8 KB, right? That is what we discussed. 8 into 8 is nothing but 64 kilobytes. Your extent size is 64 kilobytes. 64 kilobytes, your extent size is. And you are having two type of extents. One is uniform extent, one is mixed extent. Uniform extent means, okay, uniform extent means if 8 pages contains single object data, if 8 pages contain single object data, object in the sense these are all you should call it as a objects only, everyone. Okay, table is object, okay, view is object, okay, stored procedure is object, function is object, trigger is object. Okay, again when you go to the functions, okay, we are having table valued functions, scalar function, aggregated functions, system functions. Technically you should call it as a objects, ma'am, here, everyone. In entire database management system, if you go for SQL, if you go for Oracle, if you go for MySQL, anywhere, you should call it as a objects. Your object can be table, your object can be view, your object can be stored procedure, your object can be function, your object can be trigger. Okay, so if 8 pages contains single object data, single object data, that you need to call it as a uniform extent. If 8 pages contains different object data, then you should call it as a mixed extent. You should call it as a mixed extent. Getting my point, everyone? Okay, so extent is nothing but physical 8 continuous pages. We'll call it as a extent. Okay, extent size is 64 kilobytes. We have two type of extents. One is uniform extent, one is mixed extent. Uniform extent contains single object data. 8 pages contains single object data, then we'll call it as a uniform extent. If 8 pages will contains different object data, then we'll call it as a mixed extent. So the hierarchy you should understand actually. Okay, how the hierarchy means. Let me first application, sir. Application, that can be any application. Once application will connect to the instance SQL server. Once it connect to the SQL, we'll create a database. When you create a database, files will be created, right? MDF file, NDF files. Once we create the database, files will be created. Files. On that files, extents will be available. On that extents, pages are available. On that pages, your data is available, sir. This is the hierarchy. Where your data is storing? In the pages again. In the pages, only your data is storing. But on top of the pages, there is a concept called extend. There is a concept called extend. So we have two
Can you
types of
repeat the
extends. One,
hierarchy?
application. Okay, your application will connect to the SQL instance. SQL instance. Your instance contains the databases. Your database contains the files, MDF files, NDF files, LDF files. Your files contains the extents. Your extents contains the pages. Your pages contains the data.
Okay, got
Yep.
it.
Okay, everyone. So if someone is asking how your data is storing in the form of pages, very simple answer, sir. Don't get confused. If someone is asking what is extent, okay, so 8 continuous pages, we'll call it as a extent. Extent is size is 64 kilobytes, and we have two types of extents, uniform and mixed extent, and you need to explain. Uniform extent is nothing but if 8 pages contain single object data, then uniform extent. If 8 pages contains multiple object data, then we'll call it as a mixed extents. Now, uh, till now, both are very important interview question. Okay, two questions definitely. One question definitely they will ask. What is extent? Make a note, sir, everyone. Very important interview question. What is extent? Okay, and how many types of extents are available? What is a page? Can you explain the page architecture? And how many types of pages are available? That is also very important. So we are having different types of pages. Before we go and discuss this, any questions, sir? Anyone?
Not from my side.
Others? No.
No, Subbu.
Good. Yeah. Thanks. You can stop me, sir. Okay. No worries. We have a lot of time. You can stop me anytime. Okay. We'll discuss because this is a core, sir. If you understand core, later on it's very simple because we are going for concept wise. If you go for concept wise, it will make so easy SQL Server. Now it is a little bit clumsy. It will be little bit uneasy to digest all this scrap thing. But this is the core, sir. Actually, you should know about this core. You should know the hierarchy, how the data is storing. Most of the people simply they think that okay, data is storing. Where data is storing actually? Pages. On top of the pages, extents. On top of the extents, files. On top of the files, database. On top of the database, instance. On top of that, application. Yeah. Now, going forward, sir, we have different types of pages in SQL Server. So if we go and search in Google, okay, page types in SQL Server. Page types in SQL Server. We have different types of pages. Let me go to the different blocks. Okay, let me open one or two blocks, then let's see. Not that much clear. This we already opened. Not that much clear. Let me go for some other block. Okay. Now one more good news, sir. Mostly this month end we are going to open the block. Okay. We are writing the blocks. Okay, our own blocks. Now you people
Oh, great.
also, if you write something, will also include your name in our blogs. Okay, it's already planned. We are making a separate block for us. Whatever the challenges, whatever your learnings, you can keep it everything in the block, like how we are maintaining the GitHub. Okay, most probably in this month we'll open the blog. Actually, I'm having the website, but unfortunately, when I just started, the corona has been started, and I just came to my hometown. Then after I not uh, get much opportunity, and it was been my account got expired. Actually, I'm having the website KMS IT Technologies. IT Technologies. I purchased the domain as well, but unfortunately, it has been expired. Okay, something here he explained somewhat very good. Let me keep it. Okay, let me share this one over the chat. Okay, so that is a one good move we are doing this month. Okay, we are making our own blocks. Let's see. I will collect multiple people's inputs, and I will try to upload in our blog so that you can go and see if something is happening, how to troubleshoot. That kind of information, valuable information, will keep it in the blogs. Yeah,
That would be great for us.
yeah, definitely. We are planning, ma'am.
Yeah, thanks.
No, everyone. So, for example, if I only one person to keep the blocks is very challenging. So, for example, 10 people are facing 10 issues. If 10 people will write their own, we will keep your name only. Everyone whoever designed that article will keep your name and will publish in our blog with your name only. That will be stay back.
Yeah, that's good.
No. Okay. No. So till now we discussed what is page, what is database, what are the files, what is the hierarchy, what is extent. Okay, that is four concepts we discuss. Out of these two concepts are very important. What is the page architecture, very important for interview point of view. Extent is also very important for interview point of view. Just remember one or two lines, sir. No need to go on search here and there, and don't make your brain like a spinning machine. Okay, like a grinder. Just one or two lines. What is extent? Directly they will ask you. Simple for they want, if they wanted to test your core component, simple question they will ask, what is extent? Your answer should be, extent is nothing but 8 continuous data pages, will call it as extent. Okay, each extent size is 64 kilobytes. We have two type of extents, one is uniform, one is mixed. Uniform means 8 pages contains single object data, will call it as uniform. If 8 pages contains different object data, then we'll call it as a mixed extent. That's it. Okay, just make like that. Now, sir, when you start, we mustn't should know about, we have different types of pages basically. Okay, like how the extents are available, two types of extents, right? Like same, when you go to the pages, we have different types of pages. Almost we have 10 types of pages. Almost we have 10 types of pages. 10 types of pages. So like data page, PFS, GAM, SGAM, okay, DCM, BCM, IAM, okay, boot page, and the text and image page. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Almost 10 pages are available in SQL Server. Almost. Okay, 10 pages are available in SQL Server. Database,
So
PFS,
it
GAM.
should be in
Yes.
sequence only, right?
Yes. Internally, it will be in sequence, but that's what. Let's explain about each and every page. What is the importance of every page? Okay, it will
Mm.
be in sequence again. Your data will store in the sequence. Your pages also in the sequence order internally.
Oh, oh,
Okay, so we discussed about the database just now. Yes or no? Database. Actual data is residing in the database. Correct?
yes, yes. Yeah.
Actually, what data is residing in the database. Okay, now what is the PFS space? Page free space. PFS stands for page free space. So this space used to track of every database free space. Try to understand logic. Sir, this is your page, data page, data page. Okay, in this database, okay, you are storing data. Assume still this much space is free, no one is used. Okay, so usually this space is tracking free space. I told you, right? Page header will track how much free space, how much used. It will track. Okay, uh, up to here clear, sir? Your database is tracking how much free space is available in that page on the header. But again, sir, your PFS page is also tracking every database respect to that object. Every database. It is tracking every database how much free space is available. How much free space is available, your PFS page. So your PFS page will track all the data pages free space information like 1 to 50%, okay, 50 to 60%, 60 to 70%, 70 to 100%. So that is how it will track internally, sir. Internally, it used to track in the percentage. So PFS space means PFS space will track all the unused space in every data page. In every database. That is the main purpose of your PFS page. Getting? Not getting, sir. What is the purpose of
Yeah.
PFS page? Where it is available? Uh, GAM page is GAM, IAM, yeah, PFS page. See, your PFS page is tracking all the unused pages. Unused pages. Sorry, free space of every database. Free space of every database. It is tracking, sir. It is tracking. Because, sir, basically we won't go and dig this much in real world because you are not performing insert or update or delete, sir. Who will perform? Developers. When they are inserting or deleting or updating anything, sir. So usually this is the mechanism internally is keep on checking. So any database having free space, so try to load into that database instead of creating one more new page. Getting my point? Once that page is completely filled, again it will go into the next page. Again it will go to the next page. Again it will go to the next page. That is the internal mechanism, sir. You no need to worry. Okay, so PFI space will track all the data pages free space information. Up to here, clear, sir?
Yes.
Now, very, very important, very, very tricky to understand these two pages. And very important interview questions. A little bit confused. Most of the people will uh, confuse here. Okay, GAM pace is GAM pace. So whenever you are creating a table, so for example, if I'm creating a table, employee table. So when you are creating a table, okay, so your table need extent actually. Extent. So where this extent is allocating, sir? How you are getting this extent basically? So your GAM page. Whenever you are creating a table, whenever you are inserting the data, whenever you are creating a table, whenever you are inserting the data, you need extent. You need extent. Where that extent is coming, sir? From the GAM page. From the GAM page, your extent is allocating to this object. From the GAM page, one extent is allocating to the your object. That can be table, that can be view, that can be anything, sir. Okay, so whenever you are creating any object in SQL Server, okay, how the extent is allocating? Extent is allocating from the GAM page. Each GAM page size is 4 GB. One GAM page size is 4 GB. It contains 64,000 extents information. Every GAM page contains 64,000 extents information. Assume I am creating a table. For this table, it taken 5 extents. Extents. Assume, sir. Okay. Out of 64,000, so 5 extents has been consumed by this object. Currently, how many are available? 63,995 are available. So it is keep on reducing until it will go zero. Once it will go zero, again one more GAM page will create. If that will become zero, one more GAM page will create. So again you will get one question. Subbu sir, my database size is, so for example, my database size is only 82 MB and you are telling one GAM page size is 4 GB. How can I trust you, sir? My database size is 82 MB only, and you are telling one GAM page size is 4 GB. Getting my point?
Yeah.
Oh, 1 second, sir. Hi, Rehan. Can you please take a look? Okay, sure. 1 second, sir. Let me took the ticket. I'm having issue with connectivity. No problem. Okay. Okay, let me. Meanwhile, you can ask the. Oh, sorry, student. No, 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 no. Meanwhile, you can ask the question, sir. Let me look into the ticket. Come on.
So we have told us कि there's a one in a one extent there's a 8 continuous pages. Okay.
Yes.
So there is a 10 types of pages. So which page in exist reside in the 8 continuous page? Like after DCM page, how it will start?
No,
Where is the
actually,
DCM? Yeah.
no, try to understand the logic actually. Okay. So your all extents allocation is performing via GAM page. Allocation. Your extent allocation is coming via GAM page. GAM extent, what is extent we discussed? From where it is allocating? From GAM page. Whenever you start creating a table, whenever you start creating something, right? That time, whenever you start inserting, right? Where that extent is coming? From the GAM page. From the GAM page, the extent is allocating, creating and allocating to this object. Getting my point, everyone? Yes,
Not
no?
much.
No, no, very simple. See, I told you what is extent. What is extent? Extent contains 8 pages. Okay, 8 continuous
Yeah.
pages, we'll call it as extent. That is what we discussed.
Yeah.
Now, where that extent is allocating, from where it is getting? From the GAM page. From the GAM page, the extent is allocating, sir. Creating. creating. Getting my point? Who is creating that extent? GAM page. So what is the overall size of GAM page? 4 GB. How many extents it contains? 64,000 extents. Each GAM page. So one extent will be created and that will map to this object. One extent will be created and it will map to that until it will reach to 64,000. Sir, it is not pre-allocated. It is incremental. Means whenever you are performing only, your GAM page is generating. Otherwise, your GAM page never generated the extent. When you need, GAM page will generate. Otherwise, no sir. So that is the one thing. So GAM page will grow up to 4 GB, not directly 4 GB. GAM page will grow up to 4 GB. GAM page will grow up to 64,000. GAM page will allocate 64,000 extents. That is how our understanding should be. Your extents are allocating from GAM page. Got you, Poonam?
Yeah, yeah, got it now. Yeah.
Everyone? Very important, sir. I can repeat once again. Not once again, twice, thrice. I can repeat it. Try to understand the logic. When you are creating any object, okay, that need extents. So it will go to the GAM page and it will get the extent. It will go to the GAM page. It will get the extent from the GAM page and it will store that object data into that extent.
So, Subbu, when it is creating the extents, will it
Yeah.
allocate 8 pages on the spot?
Yes, 8 pages on the spot. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Once that extent is, so for example, 5 extents has been used, right? Okay. So that will make here in as a zero status, a bit value. It will make zero, sir. Zero means used. One means not used. Getting my point? So every extent it will make internally one ID, kind of ID, whether that extent is used or not. Otherwise, you will also get confused. Myself also will get confused. Even SQL will also get confused, right? Simply it is allocating. So once any extent is allocated and that extent is using by object in the GAM page, it will make a value called 0101. Used, not used, used, not used. Like that it will make, sir, internally. Getting? Yep. Okay. So your allocation is performing from GAM page. Now most of the people having clear that okay, my allocation is getting from GAM page. Now assume, sir, the extent has been allocated. 8 pages has been allocated. 8 pages has been allocated. 144. 8 pages has been allocated. So you created one table, okay, and you inserted 10 rows, 100 rows, 100 records. You inserted 100 records. Now for 100 records, this page has been filled with the data. This page has been filled with the data. This page is also filled with the data. This page is half filled and remaining all the pages are free. Okay, so that information is tracking via SGAM. SGAM. SGAM will track whether that extent is completely filled with the data or any pages are free in that extent. That is keep on tracking by the SGAM. SGAM. Getting my point? So SGAM will track free space information in the extent. Extent. PFA space will track database free space. SGAM will track extents free space information. Got you?
Yes, got it.
So GAM, SGAM will both will work on the extent map. Again, everyone, sir. Okay, both are working with the extents. GAM will is nothing but allocating the extents. SGAM is nothing but whether that extent is completely filled with the data or it having some free pages, space. That information is tracking by SGAM. So in case you are inserting the data into the table, in case these 4 pages are free, then it will start returning from here. Once it is filled, again it will get the data from the GAM page. Again it will start writing the data. That is how internal it is doing, sir. So SGAM will contains free space information, extends free space information. GAM contains allocation information. So both GAM and SGAM information, again very important, not data, information. So SGAM page size is also 4 GB. It's also contain 4 GB. It also contains 64,000 extends information. SGAM, GAM, both are 4 GBs and it contains 64,000 extends information. Both information, not data. Don't get confused. Your data is residing in the pages. These are all information, sir. Information, allocation information, user information. Okay, clear? Not clear?
Yeah, clear, clear.
Subbu, can you tell in the Telugu once what is
O-
GAM
Okay,
page and SGAM page?
ఓకే. నో ఇది సింపుల్ సార్. అంటే గ్యామ్ పేజ్ ఏంటంటే మీరు ఒక టేబుల్ని క్రియేట్ చేసేటప్పుడు కానీ ఒక ఒక ఆబ్జెక్ట్ని క్రియేట్ చేసేటప్పుడు మీకు ఎక్స్టెంట్ కావాలండి. ఆ ఎక్స్టెంట్ ఎక్కడి నుంచి తీసుకుంటుంది? గ్యామ్ పేజ్ నుంచి తీసుకుంటుంది. వన్స్ మీకు ఎక్స్టెంట్ ఆ గ్యామ్ పేజ్ అలొకేట్ అయిన తర్వాత అక్కడ వాల్యూ ప్లేస్ చేసుకుంటుంది 0101 అని. అంటే ఆ ఎక్స్టెంట్ యూజ్ అయిందా లేదా అనేసి ఒక వాల్యూని ప్లేస్ చేసుకుంటుంది. వన్స్ ఆ ఎక్స్టెంట్ లోకి డేటాని మీరు లోడ్ చేస్తారు, ఇన్సర్ట్ చేసేటప్పుడు లోడ్ అవుతుంది. లోడ్ అయ్యేటప్పుడు ఆ ఎక్స్టెన్స్ లో ఏమైనా ఫ్రీ స్పేస్ ఉందా, ఆ ఫ్రీ స్పేస్ ఉందా లేదా ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఎక్కడ స్టోర్ చేసుకుంటుంది? ఎస్గ్యామ్ లో స్టోర్ చేసుకుంటుంది. సో గ్యామ్ పేజ్, ఎస్గ్యామ్ పేజ్ సైజు రెండు వచ్చేసి 4 GB అండి. ఓకే, ఎన్ని ఎక్స్టెన్స్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఉంటాయండి? 64,000 ఎక్స్టెన్స్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్. మీకు డేటా వచ్చేసి డేటా పేజ్ లోనే స్టోర్ అవుతుంది. క్లియర్ సార్? ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ సార్, అంతే, అంత మించి ఏముండదు అక్కడ.
Okay, Subbu. Fine.
క్వశ్చన్స్?
Hey, Subbu.
యా, ఎస్.
This is the 8 pages, how it is tracking uniform extents and then mixed extents, where it is,
That's what.
when it will
GAM
mark
page.
it. Oh,
GAM
GAM
page,
page.
sir. Sorry,
Oh,
SGAM.
oh, oh,
SGAM page. SGAM page. Sorry, SGAM page, not GAM page.
oh, okay,
GAM is
SCAM.
just allocating. GAM is just
Okay,
allocating.
okay,
SGAM
okay,
page will treat that. Okay. If that extent is completely filled with the data, maybe that is uniform extent or
okay,
mixed extent, it is completely filled. SGAM is tracking.
okay. If,
By
if,
default, by def
okay,
by default, it will create mixed extent. If you go and verify
oh, okay, okay,
mixed extent,
okay. That's what I want to ask you. Okay, that's by default it is mixed extents, and then
mixed extent
if
by default.
okay, and then
If
if
you
all
want,
the
you can
pages
you can
contain,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
if all the pages become, I mean, stored with same object ID data, and then it will change to uniform extent.
exactly.
Okay, sure. Yep, thank you.
Yeah, questions? No questions? Sir, next thing is DCM page. Sir, I am not discussing anything about DCM page now. Very important. I will discuss when we are discussing backups. BCM pace I will discuss in recovery model. Very, very important. Very, very important. IAM pace I will discuss in the indexes. Indexes. So three pages are I'm skipping now because let's discuss on the respective session so that you can understand more instead of discussing now again. Because we don't know what is recovery model. We don't know what is backup. We don't know what is index. I don't want to discuss now this concept. Okay. So when we are discussing recovery models, I will discuss about BCM. When we are discussing backup, after recovery model, next concept is backup. I will discuss here. Once we discuss indexes, I will discuss about IAM page. Very, 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 very important pages. IAM page, okay, sir, we won't dig that much, but BCM, DCM are very, very, very important interview question as well. Both are important pages and both are important interview question. And one more interview question, sir. What is the difference between GAM and SGAM? Very, very tricky interview question. Most of the people will get confused. Very simple, sir. GAM and SGAM both are working with the extents. GAM is specially working for extents allocation. SGAM is working for tracking the extents free space information. That's it, sir. Answer. Don't go for deeper. That's it. Getting my point? In a simple lay terms, GAM is allocating, SGAM is tracking the free space about the extent. And DCM, BCM, IAM will discuss um, in respective sessions, sir, because those are very, very important concept. Recovery model is topmost interview question. Backups is topmost interview questions. Indexes are topmost helper to the DBS. It will help you a lot. Indexes. We'll discuss almost 4 to 5 sessions only on indexes. Only on indexes. Then think about, sir, almost 10 hours we'll discuss only on index. How hard is the index? How important the index will plays a crucial role when we are discussing tuning. Okay, no worries. These 3 pages I will explain there itself. As of now, no worries, sir. Now, uh, let me discuss about the text page and image page, sir. In case if you wanted to store documents, if you wanted to store images, okay, into our databases, then text page will comes into the picture, image will page will comes into the picture, and it will store the data to improve the performance, sir. Okay, so when you wanted to open the bank account, sir, you will go to the bank. They will ask you your passport size photo and identity proof and address proof, right? And they are going to store your image, they are going to store your address proof and passport, right? Where they are going to store, sir? In the text page or image page in SQL Server? Kind of LOB, large object binaries. LOB, large object binaries, sir. Okay, these data types will stores in the text page or image page. Okay, now boot page. Finally, boot page, sir. Boot page will be available only in the MDF file, not in the NDF file, sir. If someone is asking what is the difference between MDF and NDF, both are same. Both are identical, sir. Identical. But only one thing is boot page. Boot page will be available only in the MDF file, only one page, sir. So boot page contains metadata. Metadata. You no need to worry, sir. Metadata is nothing but automatically updating your database name, your database file locations, how many files are available, uh, and database properties, all the metadata related. So, for example, see, sir. So when you decide to create, so for example, if you decide to create one database, okay, just decide to create one database. So we have a lot of parameters. Sir, see, these many options are available. One second, sir. Okay, one second. One second, sir. Let me pick the ticket. Okay. Now, sir, see, these many options are available, and boot page will help you a lot, sir. Uh, that concept I will explain in when we are discussing corruption. Okay. When you were last checkpoint trigger, when you were last lazy writer trigger, when you were last DPCC check DB triggered, that information you can get via boot page only. Maximum people don't know, sir. The people who are already working also don't know this concept. Boot page is very important, which contains metadata information. Metadata information like your database name, database files, locations, and parameters, and whatever the not about your data, sir. Forget about data. It is not dealing anything about data. Your DB information will be maintained in the boot page. That boot page is the ninth page, sir. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 page, right? Ninth page your boot page. Basically, when you go for order, first page is PFS page, then GAM page, SGAM page, data pages. All are data pages. PFS page, GAM page, SGAM page, all your data pages, and ninth page is your boot page, which stores your DB related information. Which stores your DB related information, sir. Questions? Clear? Not clear? Except DCM, BCM, IAM.
Hello.
Yeah, yes, yes, ma'am.
Is SGAM tracking free space information? How pages are
Extend
created
page.
without
Extends within that extent pages are available, right, ma'am? That free space information is tracking.
extents are created without data? Pages are created without data.
Yes, means see, if you wanted to create a table, if you wanted to insert something, you need pages, right? How the
Yeah.
pages are allocating with the form of extent. That extent contains pages.
Okay.
That is what hierarchy I told you, right, ma'am? Okay, one second here. Here. So extents contains the pages. So
Yeah.
from where the extents are getting GAM,
Yeah.
GAM page. Okay, within that GAM, one extent is created for this employee table or account table. Okay, that extent contains pages. Pages free space information is tracking by PFS. Make a note. But whether that extent having free space or not, who is tracking is GAM.
SGAM.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Subbu, you said that a boot page having the information of databases, right?
Information. This metadata
Yeah.
information. Yeah.
मतलब what type? मतलब like database
That's what I
IDs,
will show you.
data.
I
Yeah.
will show you.
Okay.
Not now. This is
Okay.
not right time. I will show you. That is very
Okay.
important
Okay.
concept.
Okay. No
Yeah.
issue. No.
Questions? No questions?
No, not from my.
If no questions, let me stop because I'm having a meeting at 10 o'clock. So like they are going to train me Alibaba Cloud.
Okay. Good.
I am I am overloading.
We also
Okay.
want to overload it, but we can't.
No, definitely will overload. Definitely.
Okay, we'll try.
I will make to overload everyone. Okay.
Okay, we'll try definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Okay. How's your baby now?
She's fine. Once I just mm, took to hospital, right, and she's playing there, and even doctor
Oh,
also shocked.
that's good.
Really, she's getting fever. So I thought, no, my parents are little scared because overheated. She's overheated.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Now she's fine.
okay.
She's playing like anything.
Okay.
Oh, that's great.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Prabhu,
Thank
bye.
you. And tomorrow, don't miss very, 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 very important session tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Uh,
Okay,
you will
sure.
learn lot of internal stuff tomorrow. Is very critical for us. Okay. Thank you. See you
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. Bye. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.